Discover how a janitor's heartwarming gesture to a billionaire's deaf daughter changed everything. In a bustling suburban high school in Ohio, long hallways echoed with laughter, but only if you listened closely. Sam, a dedicated janitor and modest war veteran in his late 40s, found purpose in the rhythm of a broom. With a genuine smile and kindness that radiated, he moved through the corridors as a silent guardian. Each sweep of his mop wasn't just about keeping the school clean. It was a chance to contribute to a community that felt both vibrant and troubled beneath the surface. Among the sea of students was Emily, the mute daughter of a wealthy businessman, a girl draped in shadows. Despite the riches surrounding her, Emily navigated her days at school feeling invisible. She sat alone at lunch, her untouched plate a symbol of her longing for connection. The chatter around her felt like a fortress, keeping her on the outside, desperately yearning for friendship. One day, as Sam was tidying up the lunch area, he spotted her solitary figure hunched over, and a familiar tug of empathy coursed through him. He remembered the isolating days after returning from service, and his heart ached for her. In that moment, he made a decision that would change everything. He enrolled in night classes to learn sign language, practicing during his breaks with fervor. He imagined the flicker of joy he might ignite in her world. Days passed, and Sam began to sign simple greetings. "Hi, how are you?" Each wave of his hand drew Emily's gaze, sparking curiosity. Their interaction blossomed into conversations woven with laughter and respect, transcending the divide of their worlds. Emily's eyes sparkled as she learned to communicate. For the first time, she felt seen, appreciated even. But as their friendship flourished, Emily's confidence grew. She dared to engage in school functions, igniting a fire within her to participate in the upcoming arts festival. Yet whispers of disapproval drifted in the air. Emily's father discovered her connection to a school janitor and exploded with indignation, claiming it tarnished their family name. Torn between the love for his daughter and the oppressive weight of societal expectations, he grew more controlling. With pressure building, the school administration found themselves at a crossroads. Sam, caught in the storm, contemplated stepping back for the sake of his job. The thought twisted in his stomach like a knife. They found a quiet moment to speak, Emily's tear-filled eyes pleading for understanding. "I don't want to go back to being invisible, Sam," she signed fervently, as he felt the weight of her pain. The echoes of his own battles were never far behind, lurking like ghosts as the night of the festival approached. Emily shared her deepest desire to perform a dance that spoke of their unique friendship, a magnificent display that represented the voice she longed for. But doubt gnawed at Sam's heart. He knew what was at stake, but seeing Emily's spirit shine through his fragility was a battle worth fighting. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the day of the festival neared, whispers in the hallways grew louder. The community rallied around Emily's plight, but the looming threat of confrontation sent chills down Sam's spine. Would he find the courage to stand for what was right? And could Emily find her voice amidst the chaos? The stage was set for a breathtaking showdown that would not only reshape their lives but challenge the very essence of what connection meant in a divided world. The sun hung low in the sky on the day of the festival, painting everything in warm hues of orange and gold. Sam arrived at the school early, the air charged with excitement and nerves. He could see the decorations, twinkling lights, and colorful banners transforming the gymnasium into a magical space. Yet, beneath the surface joy, a dark current flowed. The weight of Emily's father's disapproval loomed like a storm cloud, threatening to overshadow their moment. As students buzzed around him, Sam found himself drawn to the stage, where the dance performances would soon take place. Each joyful squeal from the crowd reminded him of Emily's laughter, and he could almost envision her on that stage, radiant and free. But a sharp pang of doubt twisted his heart. Was it truly worth risking everything? Could he really convince the world that their bond was something beautiful, something worth protecting? He thought of Emily's tear-filled eyes as she had shared her dream. "I want to show them that I matter," she had signed, her hands trembling with passion. She had made him promise to be there, but he couldn't help but wonder if he had the guts to uphold it when moments of confrontation lay ahead. The clock ticked closer to showtime, and Sam felt the energy shift. Families took their seats while Emily's father, Charles, stood at the entrance, his presence powerful and commanding. He scanned the crowd, his expression darkening as the whispers about Emily's friendship with Sam reached his ears. Sam knew that confrontation was inevitable. Emily had broken through her confines, but would her father allow her to soar? Sam. Emily's voice, translated through lively gestures, broke through the haze of his thoughts. She approached him, her cheeks flushed with excitement. In her sequined costume, she looked like a shimmering star, her enthusiasm infectious. "Are you ready?" "I am," he replied, but deep down, a flicker of anxiety dulled his confidence. He wrapped his fingers around hers, feeling the warmth flood through him. "Your father, do you think he'll understand?" Emily hesitated, her brows furrowing. She signed, "I don't want to be afraid anymore." For a moment all doubt fell away. Her spirit shined with determination, a light that ignited something deep within him as they stepped backstage. The muffled sounds of applause and cheers resonated through the walls. Sam took a deep breath, and for the first time he felt his pulse steady. This wasn't just about a performance. It was about a truth that needed to be told, a celebration of self, acceptance, and the power of friendship. One by one, dancers took the stage, each performance building upon the energy of the crowd. And when Emily's name was called, a hush fell over the gym. Sam felt his heart race as she took a deep breath, his grip on her hand tightening as if to imbue her with strength. As Emily stepped into the spotlight, she glanced back at Sam, her eyes shimmering with hope. He nodded, filled with a surge of encouragement. The music began softly, and Emily started to dance, her movements flowing like liquid light. Every gesture spoke volumes, revealing her story, her struggles, and the bond they shared. Yet, just as the performance blossomed, Sam noticed Charles shifting uncomfortably at the back, his face a mixture of anger and disbelief. A murmur swept through the audience as he stepped forward, eyes locked onto the stage. This had to be addressed. Would Charles interrupt? Sam's stomach clenched at the possibility, the struggle palpable. In the midst of breathtaking beauty, would the shadows of doubt prevail? Just then, as Emily spun gracefully, the crowd erupted into applause, but behind the cheers, tension surged. Sam felt the moment had come. Would he choose to step in, or would he let fear dictate their fate? The night held its breath, waiting for the truth to unfold. How far would Sam go to defend the bond that had transformed them both? As Emily swirled across the stage, the crowd's cheers enveloped her like a warm blanket. Every movement she made seemed to transcend the air of unease that hovered nearby. But Sam's gaze was fixed on Charles. The tension in the air felt electric, crackling with the unspoken words about to escape the father's lips. When Emily spun, her eyes sparkling with joy, a smile burst through Sam's anxiety. Would it be enough? Would her brilliance be enough to bridge the distance that seemed to grow deeper with every heartbeat? He squeezed her hand, a silent promise to support her not just tonight, but always. Then came an unexpected twist. Right at the height of Emily's performance, a young girl, caught up in the moment, jumped out of her seat and shouted, "Go, Emily!" Laughter and applause erupted. It was spontaneous joy, a ripple of happiness that surged through the audience, and for a moment, it shone brightly, washing away the dark clouds surrounding Charles. Sam couldn't help but smile. But just as quickly, he saw Charles' jaw tighten, his eyes narrowing. "Emily!" he barked, his voice cutting through the music like a knife. The laughter dimmed. Gasps echoed from the crowd. Sam's heart sank. "Dad! Please!" Emily's dance faltered for a heartbeat. Fear flickered across her face before she steeled herself. Gathering every ounce of courage, she faced her father. "This is me, Dad. I matter." I want to be free. Tension gripped the room, a tangible force. Charles advanced a few steps, his eyes flashing with disappointment and disbelief that turned the vibrant colors around them to gray. You're embarrassing yourself. You know I can't what? Sam's voice cut through the murmur of the crowd, steady and clear but trembling with emotion. Every ounce of fear he had held inside surged forth. Can't accept her? She has every right to be who she is. The audience shifted, murmurs of support rippling outward. Sam could feel the weight of thousands of eyes on him, a mix of awe and anticipation. Emily turned to Sam, confusion flashing through her eyes. What are you doing? She signed, urgency tinging her gestures. I'm standing with you, he signed back, determination flooding his heart. You're not alone. Charles faltered. The room's energy swung sharply, expectations hanging in the balance. You think this is about just you? He shot back, his voice rising. You're trying to make your point while I'm just trying to protect you. Emily's chin lifted. You don't see me, she declared, embodying a mix of fear and strength. I'm not just your daughter. This is my life. Sam could hardly breathe. The moment felt suspended in time, his heart racing. Was this it? Was this the moment that would either break them apart or bind them closer? The audience leaned in closer, holding their collective breath. Would Charles let go of his fears and embrace the daughter he didn't fully understand? Would he see the truth beneath his expectations? Before Sam could process it fully, a soft voice spoke from the back of the crowd. It was Mrs. Jenkins, a beloved teacher known for her gentle insights. Emily, you've always been brave. You've already shown us how to love and accept one another. Do you believe we can all be brave together? The crowd erupted into supportive cheers once again, emboldened by her words. Sam's heart swelled as he glanced at Emily. Just dance, he urged her gently, his eyes urging her to find her momentum again. They'll follow your lead. As the music swelled one more time, Emily breathed deeply, the fear falling away as the rhythm swept her back into the moment. Her movements became more assured, each expression glimmering with the truth of who she was. But Charles remained rooted, torn between his protective instincts and the undeniable beauty of his daughter's defiance. What choice would he make? As silence wrapped around them, the climax of the stage danced on the edge of an answer. Would love prevail? Would courage shine through the darkness threatening to swallow them whole? Sam held his breath, wondering if it was truly too late for change. The crowd waited, no longer just witnesses but part of something greater, something that could break the barriers of fear. Would this be the turning point for them all? Emily absorbed the energy in the room, feeling it pulse through her like a second heartbeat. She moved as if the music had taken hold of her spirit, each step a declaration of her defiance. The crowd responded, a wave of adoration washing over her. But her focus remained on one man. Her father, Charles, stood rigid, wrestling with the chaos inside him. His eyes flickered between pride and panic, battling the years of expectations he had built around his daughter. Could he abandon those? Could he embrace the person Emily had become, instead of the daughter he wished he could mold into his vision of success? Dad? Emily's voice broke through the noise, its clarity slicing through the tension as beautifully as her dance. Desperation laced her words. Please don't walk away. For a moment, she felt vulnerable, exposed under the spotlight, as if the entire world could see the cracks in her father's armor. Sam's heart raced. He stepped closer, making sure Emily could see him. His gaze was unwavering, his expression a mix of hope and determination. It was now or never. Emily, you can't just give up your dreams for my sake. Charles finally spoke, his voice hauntingly low. What will people think? What about your future? It was a plea wrapped in fear, the kind only a father could muster. What about my happiness? Emily shot back, her voice ringing clear with a resolve that resonated in the hearts of everyone present. You've never asked me what I want. Tonight is my chance to show you. Let me live my truth. The crowd surged, a tidal wave of support crashing against the shore of Charles's apprehension. Sam could see the conflict etched on Charles's face, lines of worry deepening. If only he could understand that the love he had for Emily didn't have to look like a corporate ladder or a glossy brochure. It could be as simple as acceptance. It could be as profound as freedom. As the applause grew louder, Charles's shoulders relaxed slightly. Emily spun again, her body a blur of movement and color, and in that instant, it seemed to Sam that she was dancing not just for herself, but for her father, too, to show him that living authentically is the greatest form of courage. Yet just when it seemed that a breakthrough was near, a crashing sound interrupted. A stage light flickered ominously, drawing attention and gasps from the audience. Panic spread like wildfire. People stood up from their seats, looking around. "Is everyone okay?" Sam called out, feeling the rising anxiety. All of this Emily's performance. The charged atmosphere could unravel in an instant. He turned back to Charles, who was instinctively moving toward the stage, concern flooding his features. But Emily, feeling the shift in energy, remained anchored in her dance, continuing gracefully despite the chaos. This was not just a performance anymore. It was a declaration not only of her dreams but of the strength to face adversity head-on. Suddenly, a little boy in the front waved his arms. "She's amazing," he shouted, a testament to the innocence that children possess. "Let her be free." Laughter broke through the tension, cutting through the dim light and grounding everyone in the moment. Charles looked at the boy, and for the first time, there was a flicker of understanding shining through his stormy demeanor. But just as the weight of resolve began to settle onto his shoulders, a sudden realization struck Sam like a punch to the gut. What if Charles didn't just need to embrace Emily? What if he needed a wake-up call for himself? If he couldn't accept change, how could Emily flourish? The music crescendoed, urging Emily onwards, while Sam's heart brimmed with urgency for both of them. Should he speak out again? Should he push for the truth they both needed? Just as Sam opened his mouth to say something, anything, an unsettling sound reverberated through the stage. As the crowd gasped once more, he felt the world around them shift. Would this night end sweetly or tear them further apart than before? Sam's heart raced as he processed the upcoming storm, his determination to protect Emily, and Charles battling against the looming chaos. What was about to unravel? And would this pivotal moment tear them apart or finally unite their fractured hearts? Sam squinted through the darkened haze of uncertainty. The audience was on edge, vibrating with a mix of fear and anticipation. The flash of the lights, flickering erratically overhead, sent jitters throughout the crowd. Emily, lost in her dance, continued to soar above it all, her movements completely defying the panic that swirled below. In a moment of intuition, Sam sprinted toward the stage. He couldn't let Emily's spirit be dimmed by chaos. As he approached the edge, a sense of urgency took hold. "Emily!" he shouted, hoping to cut through the noise and the confusion. Her head turned, eyes wide and focused, catching his frantic expression. A fleeting moment of connection, one that spoke volumes. She acknowledged him as if to say, "I'm still here." But then the sound intensified, a pop and a crack, louder this time. The crowd shrank back, gasping once more, uncertainty painting their collective face. Sam could see a few backstage crew members rushing to figure out what was happening. Charles was still near the front, the turmoil etched deeper into his features. "Emily, listen to me," Sam urged, his voice steadied by hope. "Stay in that moment. Don't lose yourself. Dance like nothing matters but what's inside you." She nodded, the flicker of doubt in her eyes seemingly vanishing as she found her rhythm again, letting the music envelop her like a warm blanket. Yet he could see the way her body tensed slightly with every crash of sound. How long could she keep it up? For Charles, watching Emily reclaim her space amidst the chaos was transformative. He stood among the audience but felt galaxies away from his previous expectations. The memories of family gatherings, little girl dancing in the living room, came rushing back like a flood he couldn't hold back. He felt the weight of those memories layered with his fears of losing control, but behind it all, something deeper stirred. Pride. "Let her be free," Charles murmured, torn between the man he had become and the father he wanted to be. Suddenly, the lights sparked and went out completely. Abruptly, all sounds came to a halt, plunging them into darkness. Panic washed over the room, but for Emily, it felt like a bittersweet embrace. The whispers around her faded. Her own heartbeat echoed in the void. It was in that stillness that she finally allowed herself to breathe deeply. She could be anything she wanted: an artist, a rebel, her own person. The moment hung there, suspended, ripe with potential. Then, darkness broke with the gentle glow of a single, unshaken lantern, a small beacon illuminating the stage. The audience paused, eyes wide open in anticipation, each person instinctively drawn back to Emily, who radiated a soft light of her own. With a fierce resolve burning in her chest, she let go of every expectation, every fear, and danced in that solitary glow. It wasn't just about performance anymore. It was an act of rebellion and freedom, a blossoming possibility, a symphony born from vulnerability. And then, from the edge of the crowd, a voice. That essay. Show us what it means to be free. It rang through the shock of the moment. It was the little boy who had called her amazing. Laughter followed his encouragement, blossoming steadily, cascading around the audience like a ripple. The tension dissipated, replaced by something far more potent: connection. Charles blinked, his heart pounding, watching as the layers of his doubts began to peel away. The sound of the crowd swelled, their voices lifting Emily higher, supporting her unconditionally. Overwhelmed, he finally took a step forward, then another, until he was moving toward her. But just as hope began to bloom, the lantern flickered precariously, hinting at another wave of uncertainty. Would he reach her in time? Would he find a way to embrace the freedom she was daring to claim? Sam watched as Charles wavered, his immense struggle laid bare. He felt time pause, heavy with unspoken words. What revelation would emerge from this moment of truth? And just like that, the music picked up again, the vibrant notes dancing in the air. But with so many hearts hanging in the balance, who would catch whom? What choice would they all make in this swirling chaos? The laughter from the boy echoed in the stillness, wrapping around Emily like a warm embrace. She danced with renewed vigor, the movements more fluid, more profound. But as she closed her eyes, losing herself in the rhythm, she felt the flicker of doubt creeping back in. Monitoring the flickering lantern, Sam's heart raced. Time seemed to fold in on itself, stretching the moment into something monumental. He watched Charles break away from the crowd, his hesitant steps moving toward the stage, each footfall resonating with a blend of hope and fear. But there was something electrifying in the air, a promise that change was on the horizon. "Go on, Dad." A voice shouted from the back of the audience, Emily's friend Lucy, her voice laced with excitement. Charles paused, surprise crossing his face, but that fleeting moment was enough. He could feel the spark igniting within him. "Emily," Charles called, his voice unexpectedly steady, cutting through the music. "You're incredible." The declaration landed softly in the charged atmosphere, and for a brief second, Emily's gaze flicked towards him. Just that glance lit up her spirit, grounding her in a way she hadn't anticipated. She was seen. She was heard. With every beat, she focused on the connection binding them together in that chaotic space. The music surged, lifting the spirits around her as the room cracked open with energy. Light spilled from the lantern, mingling with the resurgence of the audience's collective encouragement. They were no longer just spectators. They were part of this unfolding story. The lantern's glow flickered again, producing a nervous spark of anxiety. But this time it didn't dim Emily's resolve. Instead, it brought clarity. She danced fiercely, casting aside fear. The crowd cheered, their voices swirling in unison. "Go, Emily, go." In that moment, Sam realized how vital her pursuit of freedom was, not just for Emily but for everyone watching. Her dance told a story far beyond the performance. It whispered truths about letting go, about embracing oneself even when darkness threatened to encroach. Charles reached the front row, his breath hitched with exhilaration. He saw his daughter shining, glowing with her own internal light. A wave washed over him, a deep understanding taking root. He had spent too long being afraid of losing her to the world outside. But here she was, soaked in her passion, reminding him that letting go didn't mean losing. Then, as Emily executed a breathtaking spin, the lantern flickered perilously. Sam's stomach dropped. "No, no, don't," he whispered, helpless in that moment. Would this be the end of everything they had fought for? The possibility that had breathed life into the darkness. But as the light dimmed, something extraordinary happened. More voices joined in, rising above the tumult. The audience began to clap in rhythm, syncing with the beat of the music, building a heartbeat that pulsed with energy and determination. "Keep going," someone yelled, and the rush of unity pushed Emily onward. With every spin, every leap, she embodied what it meant to be free. She danced as if nothing else mattered. Just as the lantern flickered out, a burst of bright light surged from somewhere deep within her. It wasn't just the stage, it was the very embodiment of resilience. And then, amidst the chaos of sound and silence, Emily realized this wasn't just about her dance. It was about the freedom to be herself, a declaration to the world that she existed beautiful, wild, and unyielding. Sam's heart swelled, tears pooling in the corners of his eyes as he took a step closer to the edge of the stage, needing to be part of this moment. "Emily!" he shouted once more, voice full of raw emotion. This time it was a call to awaken. But as they were all clinging to this soaring moment, the ground beneath them shifted. A restless murmur ran through the crowd, hinting at something lurking just beyond the brightness. What was hidden in the shadows? Would they emerge into the light together, or would the unforeseen pull them back into uncertainty? Sam's heart raced as he moved closer to the edge of the stage, each step fueled by the vibrant energy radiating from Emily. She was a force of nature, spinning and leaping as if the world around her had melted away. The crowd beat in time with her, a symphony of encouragement fueling the flames of her performance. Smiles lit up the faces around him, but he could also see a whirlwind of emotions flickering in the eyes of Charles. "Dad, you're missing it," Lucy cheered from beside him, her voice half lost in the swell of applause. Charles stood glued to the spot, his breath coming in short gasps. He felt like a spectator in his own life, caught somewhere between pride and fear. Would she leave him behind, lost to this newfound light? The thought gripped him, but another part of him, larger, more resilient, knew he had to overcome it. "Emily!" he shouted again, this time with a fierceness that surprised even him. His voice seemed to echo in the vibrant space, cutting through the noise. For a fleeting moment, she turned her gaze to him once more, a radiant smile illuminating her face. In that glance, something inside Charles shifted. He understood now that his daughter's journey was not one of separation, but of growth. She was inviting him to join her, not to hold her back. As Emily launched into a stunning series of movements, the stage lights flickered once more, casting an eerie shadow over the scene. For a heartbeat, doubt clutched at Charles' heart, but he shoved it away, refusing to let it dim the brilliance unfolding before him. Sam watched with bated breath. He could feel the shift in the air and awakening. Emily danced harder, her confidence infectious. The thump of the bass resonated deep within each person in the crowd, synchronizing their heartbeats with hers. But in a corner of the room, a dark shape loomed, sending ripples of discomfort through the audience. A few people exchanged worried glances. Sam followed their gaze, anxiety threading through him. Some shadows should remain undisturbed, but this one felt tangible and unsettling. Just then, the lantern at the back of the stage flickered and sputtered, casting ghostly shapes across the floor. Sam felt a chill run through him, a sense of foreboding. He turned to see Charles still standing there, wholly absorbed in watching Emily, yet caught in the tension hanging in the air. "Everyone keep cheering. Stay with her," Sam called out, his voice rising into the fray. The audience responded, their voices surging with renewed force, a protective wave surrounding Emily. The lights flickered again, and Emily, fully lost in her dance, defied the looming fear. She flicked her wrist, creating a cascade of movement that made the shadows seem to retract. It was as if she was pushing back against the very darkness trying to invade their moment. Then, there it was, a voice from the far back of the venue, shaky yet filled with conviction. "You can do it, Em." It was Lucy again, her spirit shining brightly. This little spark ignited the crowd anew, amplifying their cheers. Sam felt a wave of gratitude for those around him, a community forged through moments of hope, standing strong together. But when Sam turned to look at Charles, part of him felt unsteady. His friend was still rooted in one place, a part of him tugging back, afraid to embrace the change that was bubbling to the surface. Would he let go? Emily's final leap came, graceful yet electrifying. As she soared above the stage, arms wide open, the light enveloped her completely as if the very universe conspired to showcase her flight. Yet just as she landed, the ominous flicker became a blackout. Gasps filled the room, and Sam's heart plummeted. What awaited them as they stood caught in this sudden silence? Would they face the darkness together and find a way out, or would it consume them whole? This fragile moment they had worked so hard to create? The air hung heavy with uncertainty as the darkness swallowed the stage. Sam's mind raced. Every instinct urged him to act. Silence, thick and suffocating, settled over the crowd. An invisible hand gripped each person tightly, leaving them searching for light, for hope. Then came a flicker, a single spotlight fighting against the black, illuminating a shocked Emily at the center of the stage. That beam of light caught her in a moment that felt frozen in time. Her eyes sparkled, confusion battling against determination. It was as if she was wrestling with the void around her, profoundly aware that she had the power to fill it. "Don't stop," Sam shouted, his voice a lifeline. The audience whispered his words, echoing the command, urging Emily to keep her spirit alive. She exhaled, adjusting her stance. Through the darkness and eeriness, she projected an unshakable resolve. Suddenly, from the back, Lucia's small, clear voice rang out again. "You've got this, Em. Dance for us." Her sincerity pierced the trepidation, reigniting the energy that pulsed through the crowd. Laughter and shouts mixed with the fear, forming a protective shield around Emily. With a deep breath, Emily let the music flood her senses once more. She began to move slow at first, flowing like water, demonstrating grace. Each sound felt magnified, as the rhythm returned alongside her. Charles was still rooted, but something in his daughter's movement broke through his paralysis. He saw not just a girl dancing. He saw a woman emerging from the cocoon of childhood. A flicker of fierce pride ignited in his core. His hands clenched at his sides as he fought the instinct to hold her back. "Come on, Charles," Sam urged, noticing the indecision warring in his friend's eyes. "This is your moment too." And with that, the world shifted. Charles found himself stepping forward, creeping toward the edge of the stage. Emily continued to dance, her limbs connected to a deeper power, one that transcended the fear he had felt moments before. It was a call to join her. Sam called out to the crowd, "Let South light this place up, people. Emily needs us." As if on cue, several phones flickered to life, turning the dark venue into a glowing constellation. Tiny lights sparkled in unison, reflecting the hope pooling in their hearts. The audience began to clap, then cheer louder and louder. The sound crescendoed, rising up to embrace Emily. Emboldened by their encouragement, Emily began to let go. She risked further, pushing herself into a passionate sequence, a knee sweep, a spin, a stretch that called for danger. The world was still dim, but her spirit illuminated the stage brighter than any fixture ever could. Charles gasped, heart racing, as he finally broke free of the doubts that had shackled him. He stepped forward, his voice rising. "I believe in you, Emily." It was a renewal, a release. He was no longer just a bystander. He was part of her story. In that moment, amid the chaos of dark and light, Emily's eyes met his. A spark flickered, a silent conversation exchanged in a shared understanding. This was not just her dance. It was their journey, a bridge from anxiety to acceptance. But beneath the vibrant cheers and the echoes of encouragement lay whispers of that shadow. A faint rustle from the back of the venue called for attention, a reminder that darkness was never too far away. As the performance reached its zenith, a figure emerged from the obscurity, leaving the audience breathless. What did it mean for Emily and her newfound freedom? Would the light they had conjured be enough to face whatever was lurking in the darkness? The figure stepped into the glow of Emily's spotlight, the audience gasping in unison. A chill swept through the venue, punctuating the excitement like a sharp knife. Sam could see the silhouette clearly now, a tall figure cloaked in deep shadows. It was hard to define, sharp, angular, yet moving with a fluidity that felt almost predatory. Emily froze for a heartbeat, her body betraying a shiver as she searched the murky depths of the figure's identity. Charles felt her fear thrum through the air, tight and palpable, and instinctively, he stepped closer to the front of the stage. It was a father's instinct, the protective urge flaring up wildly, battling against the unease in his gut. "Stay strong, Em," he whispered, voice steady. The spotlight flickered again, illuminating the figure and revealing a familiar face, a local journalist, Marissa, known for her scathing critiques. Rumors swirled about her intentions and ambitions, fueling the anxiety that had settled back in the audience like a dense fog. "Emily," Marissa called out, her voice cutting through the swelling applause. "I think everyone here deserves to know how you really got to this moment." The words hung there, heavy with implications. Gasps rose from the crowd, and confusion spread like wildfire. Sam stepped forward instinctively, ready to shield Emily from whatever storm was brewing. "Marissa, stop," he urged, rage simmering beneath his skin. "This isn't the place for this." But Marissa seemed fueled by the dark energy swirling between them. She smirked, eyes glinting like shards of broken glass. "Everyone is curious, Sam. Where did she get that confidence? Was it rehearsed? Or did she have some help from someone special?" Emily's heart raced. She stood caught in a storm between her friends and the journalist's accusations. The flicker of light that had once ignited her dance flickered, threatened to sputter out entirely. Faced with the unexpected opposition and unwanted scrutiny, the safety net she felt in that moment began to unravel, exposing raw nerves and doubt. "Maybe it's the truth we all need to hear, huh?" Marissa continued, her tone dripping with relentless conviction. "Success has a way of overshadowing those it leaves behind. Are we all here to celebrate her triumph? Or were there hidden sacrifices?" The audience held its breath, tension hovering just beneath the surface. Charles clenched his fists, torn between defending his daughter and recognizing that this moment could spiral out of control rapidly. Emily took a shaky breath, her own instincts telling her to step forward, to reclaim the narrative. "Marissa," she said, voice steadying, "if I've learned anything tonight, it's that what you see is real. I didn't need anyone's help to get here, except the people who support me." She gestured to her father and her friends, grounding herself in their collective energy. It's all about courage. Courage to shine, even when faced with darkness. A ripple of approval coursed through the audience, emboldening Emily. Charles's heart swelled with pride. Maybe his daughter could own this moment after all, and perhaps, just perhaps, the shadows did not have to define her. But just as that thought settled, a low rumble rolled through the venue. Vibrations nudged at the soles of everyone's feet, sending a collective shiver up their spines. "What was that?" Lucy whispered, wide-eyed. Then came the loud crash from backstage, and the sound of something or someone crashing through the curtains. The audience gasped again, the cheers from seconds before turning to fearful murmurs. Emily's heart pounded once more. This wasn't over yet. A new kind of fear gripped her. Who or what else lay waiting just beyond the stage? As she braced herself for whatever came next, she couldn't shake the chilling feeling that they were about to face something far greater than her dance, her father, or even Marissa's bitter words. Would the courage she found tonight hold against the impending storm? As the chaos descended, the gymnasium pulsed with electric uncertainty. Emily stood, legs firm and ready, her heart racing with courage, yet the tremors from backstage hinted at unease. She had faced shadows tonight, but this felt different, a wave crashing against the shore, one they wouldn't turn away from. "Stay together," Sam shouted, rallying everyone closer, bolstering the mingling energy swirling in the air. The audience, gripped by warmth and fear, instinctively huddled toward the front, unified in their support for Emily. Then, from the darkness, a form emerged, a lost soul, a classmate, crying out for help. Jason, an underachiever known for his disruptive antics, staggered forward, his clothes torn, a wild look in his eyes. "This has gone too far," he yelled, momentarily puncturing the silence. Something had happened backstage, something that threatened to derail the moment they had all fought for. "Jason," Emily called, her tone commanding yet gentle. "What is wrong?" It wasn't just curiosity. It was a lifeline she extended towards him, seeking to understand the urgency behind his chaos. "They're tearing everything down," he gasped, his breath hitching in panic. "People are angry. They want to stop the show, stop you." The audience erupted in murmurs. Worried glances exchanged. But Emily, she stood tall. The weight was heavy, but she could feel the ties of her dance, her truth, wrapping around her, anchoring her against the tide. "Let them come," she declared, her voice ringing with clarity. "Let them see that we stand together." This wasn't just her fight anymore. It was about every student hidden in the shadows, every voice silenced. Sam felt the adrenaline pulse through him. "You're right, Em. We are stronger united." The crowd rallied, their energy surging like a tidal wave, fearless and alive. But the echo of discontent thrummed from the backstage. Marissa, witnessing the stirring masses, stepped in with her signature flair. "You think this is going to end like a fairy tale?" she jeered, her voice sharp but shaky. "Can you really conquer when the stakes are so high?" "Try us," shouted a voice from the back. A teacher stood, eyes fierce, having witnessed enough to know the light Emily emitted was powerful. These students deserve to express their truths. With those words, the crowd erupted. "We won, back down," they shouted, voices merging together like a chorus of liberation. Echoing off the school's aging walls, Charles, finally moved from his stupor, stepped forward. He understood now. It was time to shield his daughter, not smother her. "Emily, show them what you are made of." His voice carried the weight of a father, acknowledging not just her light but the shared journey that had shaped him, too. Emily's gaze locked onto Charles, her father finally seeing her. "I'm ready," she signed back, heart surging with a strength she had carried inside all along. With renewed vigor, she took her place at the center of the stage, embodying hope and defiance. Even in the murky depths of uncertainty, she felt lighter than air. The music began once more. This time it was a beat of revolution, not just a dance of defiance but a collective testimony to who they all were. "Join me," the command rang in the air like a trumpet blaring. And as she launched into motion, sparks ignited among the audience, who began to dance with her, oscillating between their own struggles and victories. Laughter and rhythm filled the gymnasium, echoing beyond those walls into the world outside. The shadows began to recede, the phantom of fear that had loomed over them dissolving under the sheer force of belief in one another as stories. With every movement, every twirl, Emily wasn't just reclaiming her voice. She was breathing life into each soul watching her. She felt her father's pride swell as he joined her, the last barrier breaking down. They danced, father and daughter, as if everything they had faced and overcome was flowing into every step, an unstoppable current of love. And Marissa? She stood back, torn. The emotional pull of the moment rattled her. The truth Emily displayed could not be denied, and suddenly, she felt a crack in her armor. The gymnasium radiated with newfound joy, a beautiful cacophony of life and acceptance joining together in a magnificent spectacle. They were not just performers. They were a united force speaking against the confines of judgment and rule. In that pivotal moment, with the crowd chanting and dancing, the darkness faded away completely. The acceptance of self and of others shone brightly as if the sun had burst forth, illuminating their path forward. Charles realized it was time to shift his own expectations. He reached out, not to control, but to hold Emily close, tears brimming as he whispered, "I'm so proud of you. You've shown me what it means to love unconditionally." As the performance drew to a close, the final notes hanging delicately in the air. A sense of triumph followed. They swept forward together, a family reborn. The stage a battlefield transformed into a sanctuary filled with love and truth. And as the echoes of applause surged, Emily felt the world shift again, a weight lifted. A new chapter began. They stood together, united, hearts beating in sync, ready to face the world not as shadows, but as fierce warriors of light and acceptance. In that moment, everything changed. Just like that, Emily was chosen not just to dance, but to inspire not only herself but everyone around her to live authentically. So now, what will you do? Take a moment to embrace your truth today. And before you go, don't wait not even one more second. You need to subscribe now to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that can transform lives. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. Let us hear your voice. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, let us light up the world one story at a time.